Alright, so we're going to move along and we're going to continue on to the left leg now. So this is this joint here, so I just want to make sure again, try to, like I said, it doesn't have to be exact, as much as we can get it to be. Again, we're going to be more precise when we start to use a component editor, because sometimes when we paint this one out and then it's kind of jumble around. If you get that issue, it's normal. Alright, so don't have to worry too much about it. Again, we're trying, this is just the first pass, so we're trying to get just a very basic paint weights out here. So I just want to make sure that the value goes right up to 1 for this area. Again, something really basic first, and then later on we're going to, oops, wrong one, so we'll go to 0, and then later on we're going to be a bit more precise in a while. Let's just get some of these things done first, right? So that's going to be for the left leg. So now we're going to go to the left knee again. Don't want any of this influence to be here. Okay, sometimes it will, like I say, it will mess around after you did the left leg, and then you did the left knee, and then you go back to the left leg. Sometimes you have an issue where it's not the same as how you last left it. So it's okay. Again, just do a one pass, right? We'll address the issue later on. Again, let's just get super basic done. And again, don't spend too much time on this part. Just try your best to get as much of it done as possible. Right, so this is gonna be the left ankle. Yeah, so it shouldn't have anywhere around here at the bottom either. So here I'll probably give a bit of influence right over here. Back to 0 and make sure that doesn't have anything at the knee either. Right, so this part here I'm not too bothered about it. I'm just want to get as much of it done as possible. As long as everything is right below here, it should be okay. It doesn't go to the knee and stuff like that. Yeah, again, not too bothered about this part here, just a bit is enough. Alright, so the leg is done. I mean, it's not done, but at least we get the basic first part done, the first pass. Let's go back to our neck. Right, so again, we don't want it to be too much, and I'm only going to do on the left side. I'm not going to do the right side. I mean, you just get rid of this first, but I'm just going to be more careful for the left side since we're going to mirror it over. Let's just get as much of this as we can. Right, and then we're going to go to the mouth. Just want to make sure that it doesn't really get this part done. I mean, it doesn't really matter because you don't really have a control over this. So again, just gonna be as quick as I can, and probably just want it to be at the back. At the front, we'll just let it be controlled by those other jaws over there. Then go back to 0, let this be controlled by the neck. This area, all this is supposed to be the neck. Right, and just give a bit of thing here for the mouth. Alright, and then we go to the lower jaw. So this will go to the head, and this is supposed to go for the upper jaw. And then the lower lip, not too concerned. I mean, we can have 0 for the lower lip actually, because it's just a placeholder for the lower jaw. Skull is pretty okay. Then the upper jaw, make sure there's nothing at the bottom. Okay, you see that when we go back over here, there Maya will tend to change something because we already delete some of these influences, so they have to go somewhere and might go back to an area where we already determined, but we can change it around later on. Like I said, this is the first pass, so not too worried. And I'm only focusing on one side. Then again, upper lip, actually we can have everybody to be 0 over here. Alright. Okay, so I more or less got the first pass done. Let me just go back and select that group again. Alright, so we want to just have a really quickly mirror the joint, so mirror the pin widths, I mean. So we're going to go to the skin and we'll go to mirror skin widths, right? Go to the option box, make sure it's Y to Z, so it's going to mirror across that line, and just going to mirror for each and every one of these models that we have. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we need to go to our vertices, and we're going to make sure that there's no, like for example over here on the left, it won't be on the right, and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to select all the vertices that's over here, except for this guy's over here. So just be a bit more specific in your vertex selection. And we're going to go to Window, General Editor, Component Editor. Now of course we know that everything here has to be on the left, and there shouldn't be any right one. So like you see over here, I have some influence on the right shoulder, so I'm just going to make sure that it's 0. Right? And I also have some influence on the hip, so that shouldn't be the case as well. It should be 0. I have some influence at the back as well, so it's probably coming from over here. And also the collarbone as well, which is coming from over here. So the back and the collarbone will have to be 0 as well. So everything else is the left side, and maybe for the neck I'll put it at 0 as well. Right? So the idea is that when we use this guy, it's supposed to go proper one. Alright, now we have some problems over here, but we can fix that later on. And also when we move it up, there's some issues over here. Again, we'll fix this at phase 3 when we do the animation part. Alright, where we'll do some animation and then we'll paint the weights at the same time. So once we do that, we can actually go ahead and mirror again. Let me just put my mirror skin widths up here. So I'm just going to select the model and mirror that. So that means that if I move this guy and this guy, they should more or less have a same type of reaction, right? Which they do. Now, problem is that the collarbone over here, or whichever area over here is still trying to influence the right and left shoulders. So what we can do is we can go ahead and select these guys next. Select all the vertices. By the way, you want to make sure that this thing is turned off so you can select your vertices easily. Alright, so just want to make sure it's correct. And then again, we can go to the component editor, and this time I'm just going to tell Maya to not follow any right elbow or right shoulder, anything like that. So over here on the right shoulder, it should be 0, and on the left one it should also be 0, and it shouldn't follow any of this hip area either, because the hip is actually quite below, right? So when we actually take this guy and move it up. Alright, so you see the collarbone doesn't follow like it used to, but there's some influence at the neck, but it's okay, we can go and fix that later on. Right, we have some influence over here as well, so we're going to fix those areas later on. Alright, so let's go back to the body over here. Basically what I think it would be easier to do is just to select the whole of this area over here, except for the areas that has the left shoulder in it. Perhaps some of these guys can be relieved. Same goes here. I just want to make sure that nobody else at the bottom here as well has any influence on the left or on the right. So again, I'm going to go to Window, General Editor, Component Editor. So again, some of them have some influence on the left shoulder, so it should not be the case. So I'm going to put it back to 0, and on the right shoulder as well. Alright, so again, when we start to move this guy, as you can see, there's no influence over here, and we move this guy as well, there's no influence on this side. Again, this area over here, when we start to move, we have a bit of a stretching problem over here. This can be fixed later on when we go to phase 3, but at least the main bulk of it is done. So I'm just going to focus on the left side here, and then we can just mirror it over. So the shoulder is kind of done, but when we start to move these guys, for example, you see that some of the muscles over here is trying to follow your left elbow as well. So let's go back to here, and just want to make sure that nobody in this cluster over here follows the left elbow. So let's go to the component editor. As you can see, the left elbow has some influence, so just want to make sure it's zeroed out. Right, so we can start to the left elbow a bit so it looks a bit more natural. Right, this area here again, we can fix this later on at phase 3, but of course your elbow's not going to move that way. But we just want to do some simple movements over here just to kind of see that there's nothing really obvious. It's not like a vertex over here sticking out or anything like that. So that's okay. Let's move to the left wrist, and we have some problem over here where these guys start to move as well. So I'm going to make sure that this area here, all these vertices over here, maybe just select everyone like that, just in case if there's any influence over here. Go to the component editor and make sure that there is no influence on, let me see, shouldn't be any influence on the left wrist. Alright, so go here and we kill it off. Right, the rest we can just ignore for now. So when we start to move this guy, okay, so we still have some issues over here. It tries to follow the left wrist, so let's just make sure we do this again. Component editor. Alright, so it still tries to follow the left wrist, and even though there's no left wrist over here, but the left wrist also controls all of our thumbs and palms, those kind of things. So we got to make sure that all of them is 0 as well. Right, so everything will follow the elbow actually. And when we kind of move this so it's a bit more natural. Right, so again, we just want to push it up and down just to make sure it kind of like flows a bit better. Right, so kind of works. So everybody here will actually follow the left wrist. Just want to make sure, double check again, nobody over here follows the wrist. Yep, that's right. Okay, so pretty much good for this side. Now for here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select all the vertices over here, and just want to make sure that they don't really follow, maybe not this guy, they don't follow the wrist or any of the other things over there. So I'm gonna go to the component editor again. Oh, sorry, not the component editor, to the this guy. Alright, the component editor over here. Alright, and just to make sure that things like the left elbow has no influence. And the left wrist has no influence. And everyone else is kind of okay. So that kind of works. Right, looks a bit more better now. Right, so the good thing is that I can go ahead and just select this model and mirror it. So it should be able to work on this side as well. Right, kind of works here. It works here as well. So it's following more or less the same. It's reacting the same way as the other side, so that's good. You may notice that when we start to use this guy and we move it around, maybe here and here, you might see that some of the movement over here, but it's okay. The head is actually a separate model. We haven't tell the head to not follow any of this yet, so it's okay for us to ignore that for now. Alright, so the hands are more or less done for phase 2. Let's tackle the neck next. Alright, so for the neck, let's see what happens over here when we do this. Alright, so as you can see, there's some issues obviously. The collarbone tries to follow and stuff like that. So what we want to do is we just go to the vertices over here. Right, so I'm just going to select all these vertices over here, right about there. And I want to make sure that they don't follow the left shoulder, that everybody's 100% follow this collarbone area over here. So we're gonna go to the component editor, and everyone's gonna follow collarbone. Alright. So when we kind of move the neck here, goes a bit more naturally. The reason why it's not acting this part is because this area is being influenced by something else. It's not following the neck. So let's go and fix that area next. So again, oops, we don't do that. Go to the vertices from maybe up to here. Yep, and then we'll go to the component editor. And let's say this guy will follow the neck. Right, so we'll start to move it around just a bit. Right, so as you can see that there's some of this area, it's a bit funny, it goes like that. Because some of this is supposed to actually stay attached, so maybe some of these areas can actually follow the collarbone. So let's just select these areas at the bottom here, and they can kind of follow the collarbone a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the component editor again, and I'm going to reset this. So to reset this, just press 0 for everything, and I just want to make sure that the hip and the left shoulder and right shoulder has nothing. Obviously we don't want anything for this, and maybe just leave it a bit like this naturally, and you can see it will bend a bit better. Yep, that looks better. Again, in phase 3 we actually kind of smooth out this area over here just to make sure that it looks well, but for the most part it kind of follows. Alright, let's see what about this guy over here. Okay, he looks kind of okay for now, but the main problem comes at jaw. As you can see, when I open up, you see, oh, this thing starts becoming super ugly. Alright, so what we want to do is we go to the vertices again. What we want to do is you go to the area that is not supposed to have any influences, not the area that has, but it's not supposed to have, obviously places like the eyes and stuff like that, they're not supposed to be influenced by any of these guys over here. So perhaps a better way for us to select this is to use the lasso tool, and we can just select the vertices that way, right? So you can sort of ensure that we use this side over here. Again, it doesn't select this side, don't worry too much because I'm going to mirror this guy anyway. So let's just select these guys over here and make sure it does not have any attribute for the upper or lower jaw. So as you can see, as some on the lower jaw, 0, and some on the upper jaw, 0, and also the upper lip as well, and the lower lip, if there is a lower lip. Alright, that should be it. Now see what's going on when we do this again. Alright, so it's not gonna follow this thing very much, guys. So obviously the eye is not supposed to be acting like that, so we'll tell the eye not to follow. And of course some of this area should follow as well, like some of these vertices over here. So what we can do is, again, this thing we can fix it a bit better when we do phase 3. But okay, maybe I'll just ignore this one now and just make sure this one follows the jaw and lip 100%. So this would be 0 on the collarbone and 0 on all of these areas. Okay, so let's try again. Right, again, we need to smooth this area out a bit, but it's okay, we'll do that in the later part. And obviously the eye shouldn't have anything. Oops, let's just go to the vertex, to the component editor. Just make sure that this would follow, or should she follow? Maybe it's time to follow the mouth for now. Same thing goes for him. Just tell him to follow the mouth so it won't act weird. Right, so that should fix that problem of the eye coming down. Right, so the eye doesn't come down anymore, but we still need to fix this area and this area. So we'll continue on to fix that. The idea is that we just want to make sure that, because over here is probably you need to smooth this area out, that we'll do in phase 3. But just make sure the obvious things doesn't happen. Like over here, of course, it has to follow the influence. Shouldn't have be stuck like that. Alright, so we're gonna fix that next.